Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Sports Drive. Well, we're going to get right into our next interview because we're just so excited to keep this Hoops Madness going. I am joined by Hereford coach Lisa Taylor. Coach, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So I just want to obviously get right to it. Can you tell me your overall thoughts about how your season went this year?
Well, we were a little bit disappointed that we went into the playoffs of being the fourth place team in our district, but then you look at who our district consists of, and it was just, we battled day in and day out with all those guys, and, just being able to say that we were one of the top four is a pretty big deal, and we're proud of that. And, of course, we had to come up with a playoff matchup with Seminole, which was a little bit tough. But I felt like we probably played one of the best games that we played all season right there at the very end. We just needed about 2 more minutes on that clock, and we would have been in pretty good shape.
Yes, ma'am. And you've talked a little bit about the future of your program. I've heard that your 7th grade team went undefeated. Tell me about what you're looking forward to now that you've got this season. What's next?
Well, we've got a good core of our kids coming back next year, so I think our varsity team is going to stay pretty much intact, which is something that we haven't had the last couple of years. I graduated 5 seniors last year that were the main part, so we kind of had to start over, but the core of our team is coming back. I only graduated 4 this year, and so that's something to really look forward to, is consistency, and I think that for the first time in next year's season, that's what we're going to have. And then, of course, we've got several good kids in our 8th grade group that'll be freshmen that I think will, definitely put their name in the hat. And then I've got a very solid group of freshmen this year that we kind of tried to keep together as much as we could. And, there will be 2 or 3 of that group that are really going to try to put their, calling in to make that varsity team next year as a sophomore.
Yes, ma'am. And you mentioned that you graduated 4 seniors. Can you tell me a little bit about them and the hole that they left in the team?
Yes. Lindsay Carbajal, she's a 4-year letterman. She's been on varsity since she was a freshman. Just kind of the heart and soul of who we were. Lindsay, if you know her as a person, she's just got this very sweet demeanor, but basketball is her love, and it shows when she gets out on the court. And she suffered a pretty traumatic injury the very first game of her sophomore season, district season. And, she had a really hard time coming back from that. But toward the end of the year last year and then all of this year, she's just been a gem. And I also had Aubrey Devon. She was kind of our 3-point shooter, if you will. She hit 7 threes against West Plains or against Perryton the first time we played them. She's going to be hard to replace. Sarah E. Sanchez was also a big 3-point scorer for us that came in, number 1 or 2 off the bench, did a phenomenal job defensively for us. And then you can't leave out 6'2" Autumn Wilburn. That's going to be those are literally going to be very big shoes to fill. And, she just had a presence on the court. She was very long, outstanding volleyball player. So, we don't have anybody that size coming back. So that's going to be a hard role to fill for somebody.
Yes, ma'am. And you kind of brought up already the district that you're in and how difficult that was. What do you see these teams being capable of in the postseason? Obviously, some great teams. What do you see coming from them?
Well, I think tonight's matchup between Canyon and Seminole is going to be really fun to watch. Canyon just so strong defensively, and then you've got Seminole who are putting up 80 points a game. So I think that's going to be a battle in itself. I really think Canyon probably has the edge. I think they can slow the tempo down, which is what Seminole really wants. And man, I wish I wasn't working a playoff game here tonight. I would definitely be at that game. And then Randall, man, they have come on so strong toward the end of the season, and they've got some of their big players have really stepped up probably the last 6 to 8 games. And I think they're going to have, a really good night tonight as well.
And just out of curiosity, so once your team is out, do you end up rooting for who's in your district?
Absolutely we do. Those guys, of course, I've always Tate and I go way back. We had a playoff game in my previous school And then, of course, just the Lombard tradition at Canyon, and they always produce such good teams. And I learned so much from those guys. And then Brooke and I have become very good friends at Randall, and I've kind of gotten to watch her kids grow up too. So you just know these kids, and they're from our area, and some of my kids play on teams with their kids. So it's hard not to root for them. You don't like getting beat by them, but you definitely want them to be successful.
Yes, ma'am. Once you're not playing them, then I hope it's you. If it's not me, I hope it's you.
Absolutely. That's definitely the motto you want to take, in the postseason.
Yes, ma'am, for sure. And I've asked everybody else on here that I've had so far about this, but the Amarillo High game tonight, are you pumped to see that one too?
Panhandle basketball just rolls different. I mean, it's just, it is so much fun to watch, and it's so different from where I came from. And who can't root for these guys? I mean, like Chris Summerall at Tascosa is a big friend of mine. Amarillo High, I've learned a lot from those guys too. Jeff Williams, Trent Langford when he was there. Golly, it's just going to be fun, and of course, all the hype surrounding Alita Chavez. That's right. That's a big deal too. So
but
anyway,
it's awesome as well to see all of this attention for women's sports.
Specifically. Amen. Yes. This is 30 years for me, so I've seen a lot, and we just got to talking about the other day. Even now, there's still so few females in the profession. I was thinking about all the Panhandle coaches that are not females. There's maybe a handful of us, but it is for our kids growing up and these generations coming up. God, the sky's the limit for these guys. And there's finally a voice for them, and that's what's so impressive.
Yes, ma'am, and I think you coaches are doing a phenomenal job of setting a good example.
Well, thank you.
Yes, ma'am, and thank you for coming on to talk with us today.
I appreciate it very much. It's very nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. Have a great rest of your day.
Yes, ma'am. You too. Thank you.
Thank you.